So vintage champagne is a small proportion of the champagne that you produce. How much is non-vintage and how much is vintage?
We have 70% of our collection that is non-vintage,
Right.
30% that is vintages. In the vintages, we have the Rosé Millésime, that is a very, very small production because rare years that permit to do that. Small production because it's not the story of a year. We have a vintage that is more important because this is the story of a year. Rosé Millésime is not the story of a year, it's a quest of aromatic profile. Our vintage in white wine is the story of the year. So for this cuvée, we select all the wines that express what surprised us in terms of aromatic profile when we did the tasting. And it's a caricature of the year. And the objective is really to express what's happened in the vineyard and what was the particularity of the aromatic profile. So we have those cuvées. Hemera is another vintage cuvée, but it's a very small production because it's only 6 crus, 6 Grand Crus that are the historical vineyard of the house. And then since more recently, we have, since 2016, we have another vintage cuvée that is named L'Inattendu. That means the unexpected in English.
Yes.
That is only one single vineyard, so it's a smaller production again.
Excellent. Now we have the 2006 Cuvée Hemera in market right now. Very special wine indeed. Tell us a little bit about that one, because that's definitely a special occasion wine there.
Yeah. So Hemera is another historical cuvée of their house. It was born for the first time in 1889.
Right.
In 1889, in fact, the Henriot family developed the vineyard, going conquest of new crus in the vineyard, like Cramant, like Trépaille, like Auger. But the Henriot family considered that the 6 crus they had until now were really the foundation of the vineyard of Henriot. So they consider those 6 crus were the founding crus of the vineyard of Henriot. So the 3 crus that were in the vineyard at the foundation of their house by Apolline Henriot, so Verzy, Verzenay, and Maïs Champagne, 3 crus planted in Pinot Noir from Montagne de Reims. And then the 3 crus that arrived in 1880 with the wedding between the 4th generation and a grower, a girl, Marie Marguet from Côte des Blancs, with 3 crus Avis Ménissieux Roger Chouilly planted in Chardonnay. So those 6 crus for them were really the foundation of the house. And when we have a transition in the house of Henriot, something new, an event, we pay tribute to it through the creation of a champagne. So this is exactly what they did. They wanted to pay tribute to the historical vineyard before develop the vineyard with new cru by the creation of a champagne. They decided to make it with a recipe, with a blend, with the 6 founding cru, with equal part in terms of volume in the blend. So every creation of Hemera we do is always composed by the 6 cru with equal part in terms of volume. We don't have the possibility to play. It's an obligation to follow the terroir and the recipe we decided. This cuvée had different names in its life. We had Premier, we had Baccarat, we had Cuvées Enchanteur, and now we have Hemera. I don't know why we changed the name, maybe to be more actual, more connected to the life of Henriot. And now Hemera means the goddess of light. And there is something important for us, is that every cuvée we have shine a light on a specific terroir. The whole vineyard of Henriot with the Brut Souverain, the historical vineyard of Henriot with Hemera. So we shine a light on the historical vineyard with it. So when we bought the house where I am now, the house of Les Aulnois,
yes,
we discovered a painting that is the goddess of light of Hemera, the Metamorphose d'Ovide where Hemera is. So it was a certain connection that we really appreciated, and we decided to rename this cuvée Hemera, This cuvée is a vintage. So now we have the 06. We had until now the 06. In the few next months, we will see in the market the 08. It's a vintage, and we don't do it every year because we need to have all these 6 crus reconciled in terms of volume, in terms of quality, of course. It's 6 very strong character. So when we put it together, sometimes it fights, but sometimes it match. So when it match, we put in bottle this blend, and we wait long aging. It's more than 10, 12 years of aging. So it's a very long time. And after 10, 12 years of aging, we taste it. And it needs to be beautiful. It needs to give vibration, emotion. So we don't do it every year. It's about 3 or 4 times per decade. And what I really enjoy is that when you do a vertical, you compare the same blend, the same terroir exactly, but you have the influence of the year in terms of aromatic profile. This is so interesting.
Now, how does this wine evolve? This is a mature champagne now. How does it taste aromatically?
It depends on the year.
Yes.
It depends on the year, because when you have an extreme year with an extreme weather, like 06, for example, in general, you have strong character, you have a position that is taken. But if you take a year more fresh, with low temperature, with more acidity, like 08, you have a profile quite different, and you reveal more the precise, the details, the freshness of those different crus. So it depends on the year. But in terms of aging, it's interesting because if you take the non-vintage, for example, with time, you know what will be the future. You know that it will be every parameter higher, more concentrated, more mature, more smoky, etc. When you take a bottle of Hemera and you age it, it's always a new experience. You take Hemera 06 now, it's not the same than 2 years ago. You take a bottle of Hemera 06 in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, it will be another experience. It's not necessarily more mature, or more concentrated. It's a wine that is very alive. And this is what I love so much, because it's always surprising. Of course, you have a backbone that is linked to the year. Of course, you have a backbone that is linked to the soil, to the terroir and the cru. But you have the time that gives its influence. And I think, personally, I think there is a certain hierarchy that is given to the profile. And for example, the 06 for me today, the leader in terms of aromatic is Chouilly. Chouilly, very exotic, very rich, very yellow fruit, ananas, strong character, velvet sensation in the mouth. It's exactly Chouilly. But if you take it in 2 years, maybe it will be another cru that will be the leader for the aromatic. So very interesting.
Fascinating. Now, you've been with the house since 2020, but during that time, putting COVID aside, you must have done many tastings and done many, many dinners, working as a kind of ambassador for the house. What has been the most successful pairing that you've seen with this very special cuvée?
It's a good question. I think we are very lucky in Champagne first, in general, because we make cuvée very polyvalent. Champagne is magic for many pairing, food pairing. And then the best surprise, not the best pairing, but the best surprise to me was sushi. Sushi with Hemera is so amazing, with Hemera 06, furthermore. But we have different types of sushi. I would like to say I prefer with this cuvée the sushi from Tokyo, because you have more spices, more cooked foods with a certain dynamism and maturation and spices, and so it was really, really amazing.
Fascinating. Maybe
Yeah.
that's something I should try out the next time I get access to one of those wonderful 2006 Hemeras. Alice, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah.
at Good Food Revolution today. Hopefully at some point in your ambassadorial role, you'll be able to leave the cellar and join us for a glass of champagne over in Ontario at some point.
I really hope so. I don't travel a lot because I'm a winemaker. I'm
course, yeah.
most of the time in the vineyard and the cellar, but sometimes I have pleasure to meet people who drink champagne and to share a glass with them. So yeah, I hope.
Sure. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.